श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan is teaching us the beautiful path of Dhyana, the ultimate step towards moksha. So after gaining self-knowledge through Shravan and Manan, we have to drop all our other activities and focus our attention on gaining abidance, gaining the direct realization of our own self. So Bhagwan gives step-by-step process of that meditation, that be in a solitary place, alone, Sit on a beautiful asana. Sit erect. Focus your attention on the self and meditate on your inner self. As we meditate on our inner self, it becomes more and more clear. We come to understand our own nature. We come to understand ourselves as the Sakshi, the witness of this body, mind, as the knower within this self, within this body. So once we comprehend this inner self, we have to understand that this self is Brahma. I am Atma, Brahma. That this self, this Atma, is really Param Atma. So once we understand this, one should shift one's attention towards our self as Paramatma. And as we focus our attention, the mind becomes more and more pure, more and more steady, and it becomes absolutely still, the mind, just like a unflickering flame of a lamp kept in a windless place. So as we continue with our meditation, then the mind, which has become very calm and peaceful, gains abidance in the self, and one experiences the supreme joy of one's own self, which is infinite joy. Having gained that joy, one will know that there is no greater gain than this. So this is the yoga of viyoga. All our sorrows, all our sufferings are agantuk, means they are due to our ignorance and due to our wrong contact with the world, wrong understanding about ourselves and the world. So when all this misunderstanding disappears, then our false contact also goes away with all that gives us sorrow, and we come to gain abidance in ourself, which is of the nature of Supreme Bliss. So Bhagavan says that this path of dhyana should be pursued with firm resolve and free from all distractions, with full enthusiasm, without getting tired or lazy or fatigue. One should pursue this path. So in the two verses, Bhagavan gives the gist of this meditation. To drop all the kamnas which are created by sankalpa, by dropping the sankalpa, and controlling all your senses, shanay shanay, slowly and slowly, not with a hurry, with your buddhi, with your understanding intellect, which is held with dhriti, having deep that dhairya, patience and perseverance. With patience and perseverance, when one practices to withdraw the attention from everything else towards the inner self, which is Param Atma. So Atma Sanstam Manakritva, having made the mind abide in the self, thereafter Bhagavan says, don't think about anything else, don't initiate any thought. Na kinchit api chintayet. So as we practice this meditation, due to the habit of the mind, due to some scars in the mind, due to some impurities left in the mind may get distracted and start thinking about some other object. So Bhagavan says, wherever the mind goes, there itself see the presence of your own self. Wherever the mind goes into the past, present or future, mind goes in some object, some place, some event. So wherever the mind goes, there you see the presence of your own self, and let the mind again gain abidance in the self. Just like lot of gold ornaments are there, sometimes we might get attracted by the form and the beauty of that gold ornament, but wherever our eyes goes, try to see the gold. Focus your attention on the gold, not on the form, not on the name, but on the gold. Similarly, Bhagavan says, don't pay attention to the name, form, or other varieties of this world, but pay attention to that Brahma, that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Everything in this world is an expression of that Satyam, of that existence, of that pure existence. Therefore, everything is experienced as is. And everything is experience. Everything we are aware of. There is awareness associated with everything. There is consciousness or knowledge associated with everything. So focus your attention on that knowledge. And there is an experience associated with everything. And all the experiences are derivation of that Supreme Bliss only. So focus your attention on that bliss. Means focus your attention on that Brahma, which is Satchidananda Swarupa, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Sukham Brahma. So even when the mind gets distracted by some object, some form and all, again bring it back on that Brahma, which is our own self. So yato nischarati manaschanchalamastheram tatastato niyamyetada Atmani eva vasham nayet. So this is the grand practice of meditation, the ultimate step which will culminate in self-realization. So what is this self-realization? What will happen when we gain that abidance in our own self? What is the meaning of realizing our own self? That Bhagavan tells again in the following verses. So let us chant verse number 27. Prashanta manasam yenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Bhagavan says that prashanta manasam hi enam yoginam. This yogi, this Dhyana Yogi, as he meditates, as he focuses his attention on his own self, which is Paramatma, his mind starts becoming more and more peaceful. Mind becomes mind becomes free of all desires. And when the mind becomes free of desires, then all the other impurities which are associated with the desires, they also disappear. This kama itself gives rise to so many other impurities. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar. When there is kama is there, and if it doesn't get fulfilled, we get angry, we get irritated. So kama, krodha, lobha, if we get something, we want more. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and it creates delusion in us. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar, and we become proud. And if somebody else gets more than us, we become jealous. So all these impurities are there, all of them are related to kama, and all kamnas are for gaining that bliss, gaining that happiness, gaining our own self. So as we meditate on ourself and as we gain that abidance and gain the experience of our own self, the mind start becoming more and more calm and more peaceful. See, just as the river which originates Gangaji and Yamunaji in the Himalayas, and if you see their movement in the Himalayan regions, they move with tremendous force and tremendous power. Gangaji moves with so much of power, lot of turbulence and lot of that energy we will see. And she is flowing towards the ocean. But as it reaches the ocean, as it comes nearer and nearer to the ocean, the flow becomes more and more peaceful and smooth. And as it enters the ocean, you will not even know that it is moving. So she will just move softly and just merge into that ocean. Similarly, the mind with lots of calmness and all is very agitated, very restless. But as we meditate on our own self, the mind starts becoming more and more peaceful, more and more calm, because it is getting what it was searching for. We were searching for our own self from beginningless time, though we are always with ourselves, but we are as though looking for ourselves everywhere. It's like that deer who can smell the fragrance which is coming from itself, but it keeps on looking for it everywhere. Similarly, we were looking for that happiness everywhere in this world, but through meditation, when we come to know that it is within us, the mind starts becoming more and more calm, more and more peaceful. It is awake, it is alert, but it is peaceful. It is absolutely peaceful. So that is called prashanta manasam, hi enam yoginam. This yogi whose mind has become absolutely peaceful through meditation, what happens? Why it has become peaceful? Because shanta rajasam, because all rajogun, all the impurities which are due to the various rajogun and tamogun, all this rajas which was creating lot of agitation in the mind, all this rajas becomes shanta. They calm, they cool down. They just all this impurities just disappear. Prakshina mohadi klesha rajasam. All the agitations, all the conflicts, all the anger, jealousies, hatred, all these impurities of the mind, they just get dissolved. They just disappear. They don't make any sense, they don't make any impact on this person. You just see, just like when we are dreaming, we might be dreaming something which gives us a lot of agitation and disturbance and all, but as soon as we wake up, for a short time we might remember the dream, but after some time the whole dream disappears, and whatever happened in the dream doesn't disturb us at all. Similarly, a mind which is engaged in meditation, the whole world and all the experiences of the world, which were so important and so very, we used to get so agitated and hyper about them, all of them, they just disappear. They just make no sense. They stop giving any disturbance to this person. they appear, the whole thing appears like a dream only for that person who is meditating. For a Dhyana Yogi, the world starts appearing more and more like a dream. It is there, but it is all the dream. So his mind becomes absolutely peaceful, free from all the rajas. Rajogun agitates the mind. So no rajogun, therefore no kamana, no krodha, because kam and krodha are also born from rajogun. And kam and krodha also creates a lot of rajogun. So shanta rajasam. Rajogun is there potentially, but everything has become shanta, peaceful. And akalmasham, all the impurities of ajnana, moha, all the impurities, other impurities which are created by ajnana and which gives rise to different types of papa karma and adharma, all of them also just get dissolved. So akalmasham adharma adi varjitam, free from all adharma, papa. The mind becomes absolutely clean and peaceful. So when one achieves this, then what happens? The yogi comes to realize that Brahma, comes to experience that Brahma, Brahma Bhutam. He becomes Brahma, means he identifies with Brahma, he becomes Jivan Mukta. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes कि जीवन मुक्तम ब्रह्म एव सर्वम इति एवं निश्चयवंतम ब्रह्म भूतम. He gains that firm conviction that Brahma eva sarvam, that everything is Brahma only. I am Brahma, the world is Brahma, all the jivas are Brahma, everything is Brahma, sarvam khalvidam Brahma. He gains that direct realization of this fact, gains direct experience of the fact that everything is Brahma. So gains what you call total identification with Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And when he gains this direct realization, that Dhyana Yogi also experiences Supreme Bliss. Sukham Uttamam Upayati. Uttamam Sukham. Uttamam means which is limitless. Antam atitya vartate iti atyantam utkrushtam niratishiyam sukham. Means that sukha which is not, which cannot be compared to any sukha of this world or other world. Uncomparable, infinite, supreme bliss is experience. So sukham uttamam upayati. This is gained by that Dhyana Yogi. Uttamam sukham. See, there are, when we are identified with the body, in our state of ignorance, we experience sukha, but that sukha is that which is then filtered through the gunas. So we experience tamasic sukha, rajasic sukha, sattvic sukha. Tamasic sukha is when we are lazy, sleepy. We experience the tamasic sukha. Means when the mind becomes dull, we experience tamasic sukha. When we interact with the world and gain that sense pleasures, when we indulge in the sense object, that is the rajasic sukha. And when our mind becomes pure and sattvic, we experience sattvic sukha. But sattvic sukha is also because of the quality of the mind. But this sukha which a Dhyana Yogi experiences is the sukha of that Brahma itself. He has transcended the mind. It is the sukha of his own self. It is not filtered through any gunas. It is not filtered through the mind. It is the sukha as it is, pure, unadulterated, supreme, infinite bliss is experienced by the Dhyana Yogi. So this is a great what you call state, the ultimate goal, destination. We have to realize ourselves as that Brahma. So therefore, we should practice this dhyana sincerely with firm resolve. So Bhagavan says now in the next verse, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. He says the yogi Yunjan evam sadatmanam. Sada atmanam evam yunjan. Meditating constantly for a long time without a break. Sada. Always meditating on the self in this way. Evam. In this way means as Bhagavan has given us the guidance. See, many people, they follow so-called spiritual path guided by so many different people, and sometimes imaginary and all sorts of different types of paths they follow, put forth lot of effort, but even after years and years of struggling, many times they don't achieve anything, because it is important that we follow the right path shown by Bhagavan himself, not some imaginary path. So that is very important. One should not one should follow the path which is pramanik, which is authentic, which is revealed in our Shastra, because the whole thing is indicated very beautifully. Only Vedanta tells us that what we are seeking, we can attain here and now. The Jivan Mukti is revealed in the Upanishads. Vedanta doesn't say that you die and we will give you will attain some wonderful world and all. That is also said, but that is not the moksha. Moksha is that which we can attain here and now, in this, while living in this world itself. Jivan Mukti. So that Jivan Mukti, if we want to attain, we have to follow the path shown by our Upanishads, shown by Bhagavad Gita, shown by Brahma Sutra. So Bhagavan says evam, therefore that word evam is very important. Ki yunjan evam, in this way, when a yogi, Dhyana Yogi, meditates for a long time, then what happens? Vigata kalmashaha, he becomes free of all kalmash, becomes free of all the impurities. All the impurities. The mind starts becoming more and more pure, more and more sattvic, and as it becomes more and more pure, it as though dissolves in that supreme Brahma. It gains abidance in that supreme. See, just as we have this window pane we put on our windows, and when it is very clean, then we can see the world outside also clearly. But if it is dusty and unclean, we can't see. So when it is absolutely clean, we will not see any difference between the inside as well as outside. Therefore, some birds and all, they get confused with these windows. They think it is open air and they try to fly and they get hit. So the window pane, which is absolutely clean and pure, doesn't create any division between the inside as well as outside. Similarly, the mind through meditation becomes so clean that there remains no division between I and that Brahma. The division just disappears, get dissolved. The experience of Dvaita is there because of ignorance and because of this impurity. So this experience of Dvaita just get dissolved. So I, world and Ishvara are become one. There remains no division of any kind. So that is what is called Vigata Kalmashaha. So with long duration of practice of this meditation, the mind starts becoming more and more and more and more pure, and all division disappear. And sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. And sukhena means very easily, without effort, anayasena, effortlessly. Just like a person effortlessly go to sleep, similarly a person effortlessly gain abidance in one's own self. Effortlessly one gains that realization. So anayasena, sukhena, effortlessly, brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. The yogi experiences that supreme joy, that infinite bliss. Brahma sansparsham, which is related to Brahma, means which is the nature of Brahma. The sukha of Brahma is experienced by this yogi. See, when our mind becomes more and more pure, we experience happiness. So even when the mind becomes pure, we experience such great happiness, but still there is division. We are not yet identified with the totality. But even when we are not identified with the totality, when the mind is absolutely pure and becomes sattvic, we experience happiness. But when one gains that identification with the totality, the division of the mind disappears and one instantly experiences infinite happiness. Infinite happiness, which is the very nature of Brahma. It's not a limited happiness, not a happiness of a sattvic mind also. This is an infinite happiness. Sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. So it's most fascinating. So an enlightened person is not at all attracted by any joys of this world. He is not attracted by the joys of even Swargaloka. He is not attracted even by the joys of Brahmaloka. All this will become insignificant for that person. For an ignorant person, the little joys are so important, we keep running from one object to another. But for an enlightened person who has gained infinite bliss, which includes all the joys of the entire cosmos and much more. So, Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukham Ashnute gains this supreme infinite bliss. So, such an enlightened person who has gained this enlightenment through Dhyana Yoga has become Jivan Mukta. So, how does he look at this world? Does the world remain for him or does the world disappear? What about other beings? Do they remain for him or do they disappear? What exactly is the experience of this enlightened person with respect to the world, with respect to all beings, with respect to Ishvara? What is the vision of an enlightened person? Is it that he just closes his eyes and everything has become totally dark and peaceful and blissful? Or is it something else? See, there are some people who are very peaceful when they meditate with their eyes closed. But as soon as their eyes open and they look at the world, they get agitated. They get disturbed. So what about this enlightened person? What is his vision about the world, vision about all the people, all the beings, vision about Ishvara? How does he look at everything? That is a very important point, and that alone will be the test of realization, and that is now revealed in the following verses. Verse number 29, Bhagavan says, Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Bhagavan says that this yogi who has gained that identification with Brahma, one who has realized that I am Atma, Brahma, how does he look at the whole cosmos, everything, at the whole world? He says, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Ikshate. He sees his own self in all the beings. Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Ikshate. He sees his own self in all beings. And Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani Ikshate. And he sees all beings in himself, in his own self. This is called Sarvatmabhava. Only when a person gains this Sarvatmabhava, then he has, one can say, he has gained that realization, has become Jivan Mukta, has become free from all bondage. See, just by understanding our inner self, that I am the witness, and this I am the witness of my body, of my mind, of this senses, of my intellect and this world, that is not the complete understanding of the self. So sometimes through yoga sadhana, person tries to quieten the mind and make the chitta vritti, nirodha and all, quieten the mind, and experiences great sense of peace, because he feels that I am different from this world, I am different from this body, mind, intellect. So when I separate myself from the body, mind, intellect, At that time also I experience peace and happiness to a certain extent. But as soon as I open my eyes, again I start identifying with this body, mind, intellect, again I feel disturbed. So that is not the complete realization. Just to recognize our own little self is not complete. We have to understand that this Atma is Paramatma. That is revealed in that our Upanishads, in the Mahavakyas. That is the importance of the knowledge of Upanishad. It conveys to me my relationship with this world and with that Ishvara. Without the revelation of the Upanishad, I will never know my relationship with this world. Because from my present experience, maximum I will experience the world as different from me. I will be experiencing myself as a witness of this world. But through the guidance of the Upanishad, I come to understand that I am not the witness of the world. Ultimately, I, the world, and Ishvara are all one only. There are no differences of any kind. So after gaining that enlightenment also, the enlightened person continues to see the world. Because the body with which we are born, it continues to exist till its prarabdha is over. It will continue to exist. So, an enlightened person will continue to experience his body. He will continue to experience the world. And he will continue to experience the world through his senses only, which have their own limitation. But due to that realization, the enlightened person will know the self in me is the self in all the beings. Infinite beings are there, right from a Brahmaji to tiny little blade of grass. So many different types of beings are there. The enlightened person will know directly due to his realization that I myself am present in all these beings as their self. And all these beings exist in me only. All of them are in me and I am present in all of them. Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani pashyati ikshate. See, we will see in the 7th chapter onwards, Bhagavan will reveal the real nature of this world and himself. Ishvara has this two prakriti, the para and the apara prakriti. So through apara prakriti, Bhagavan alone appears like this world. And through the para prakriti, Bhagavan alone appears like all the beings, infinite beings. So an enlightened person comes to understand, due to his identification with Ishvara, comes to understand that all these beings are in me and I am present in everyone. Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani ikshate. The world doesn't disappear. Only his ignorance and all the misunderstanding created by the ignorance disappear. The world continues to be there. World is not an illusion. World is not mithya. World is expression of Bhagavan's prakriti. So world continues to be there and all beings continue to be there. But an enlightened person will know that this Atma itself, is present in all the beings. So Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani Ikshate. This is called the Sarvatmabhava. So whether his eyes are closed or whether his eyes are open, the enlightened person is always in enlightenment, always in samadhi. Once one gains that direct experience of one's own self as Brahma, then there is no need to close the eyes and meditate. Then wherever his eyes go, he sees the presence of his own self. Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayaha. Wherever he looks, wherever the mind goes, wherever he moves, there is samadhi only. He is in sahaja samadhi. He is in eternal samadhi, eternal bliss. There is no need to be in yoga. There is no need to be in any other thing. Yoga rato va, bhoga rato va, sanga rato va, sanga vihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati 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 eva. His chitta is always in Brahma, so he is ever in bliss. So this is very important. So Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma. So one who is Yoga Yukta, one whose Antakarana has gained abidance in his own self. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He gains that vision of samatha in everything. He sees his own self in everything and everyone. Just as it was said in the 5th chapter, we had seen कि an enlightened person vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chaiva swapake cha pandita samadarshinaha. So an enlightened person sees the same truth in a Brahman, in a cow, in an elephant, in a dog eater. Everyone he sees the same truth. Similarly, this enlightened person has gained that samatva vision, sarvatra samadarshanaha. So Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes, कि सर्वेषु सर्वत्र समदर्शन means सर्वेषु ब्रह्मादि स्थावरांतेषु विषमेषु सर्वभूतेषु समम निर्विशेषम ब्रह्मात्मैकत्व विषयम दर्शनम ज्ञानम यस्य स सर्वत्र समदर्शनः. He has got that understanding, this knowledge of oneness in all, right from Brahmaji to all the beings. He knows that his own self is present in all, and everyone and everything is present in his own self. This is called the Sarvatmabhava. Only with this Sarvatmabhava, the enlightenment is complete. So this is the most fascinating thing. So he not only sees the whole world and everything in himself, but he sees everything one with Ishvara. So Ishvara, Jagat and Jiva all have become one in his state of enlightenment. So that is what now is said in the next verse also. Verse number 30. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. Bhagavan says this enlightened person not only sees himself in everyone, he sees me also in everyone, because there remains no difference between the self and Ishvara also. So, yo mam pashyati sarvatra. The enlightened person sees Ishvara in everything and everyone. Siya Ram May Sab Jaga Jani Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Everything is pervaded by Ishvara. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagata. He sees Ishvara in everything. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. उनकी दृष्टि ऐसी हो गई है कि he sees the presence of Ishvara in everything, in all places, in all time, in all objects, in all beings. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. And sarvancha mai pashyati, and he sees everything in Ishvara only. Just like lots of gold ornaments are there, a person who has recognized gold, he will see gold in all the ornaments, and he will see all ornaments in gold. So gold is in all ornaments, and all the ornaments are in gold. Gold alone is there. Similarly, an enlightened person, he sees no difference between himself and Ishvara. He sees Ishvara in everything. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, everywhere. And sarvancha mai pashyati, and sees everything in Ishvara. Bhagavan says that one who has gained such enlightenment, tasyaham na pranashyami, for him I am not destroyed. Means I never become paroksha for him. I never go away from his vision. For an enlightened person, Ishvara is never away from his vision. Ishvara is always present for him, because Ishvara is his own self. It is not that we see if only in some particular state he sees the presence of Ishvara and then Ishvara disappears. Nothing like that. Bhagavan says, I never disappear from him. Tasyaham na pranashyami, na parokshatam gamishyami. And such a me na pranashyati, and such an enlightened person doesn't disappear for me. He is also present all the time in me, and I am also present all the time in him. So there is no such a vidvan mama vasudevasya na pranashyati na parokshi bhavati tasya cha mama cha ekatmakatvad, because there is no difference. Ishvara and Atma are one. It's a direct experience. It is not a theory, not just a concept, not just something which he has learned, but it is direct realization. See, only when we realize we will know what Bhagavan is talking. But one can imagine. So everything has become his own self. So as long as the body is there, he appears to be experiencing the world through the body. But he has already become that Brahma. So when the body is there, we can communicate, we can interact with an enlightened master. But even when the body drops, the master is one with that Brahma only. So when the body is present and is functioning through the body, we call that enlightened person as Jivan Mukta. And once the prarabdha of the body is over, the body falls down, that enlightened person is called Videha Mukta. But he is Mukta only. Whether the body is there or not there, the enlightened person is ever free. So he has gained that Sarvatmabhava. So therefore, We should sincerely follow this path of meditation here and now with firm resolve. Yeah. And assume that yes, you are qualified for that, and start your practice sincerely. And we will definitely progress and attain our goal. There is no time to waste. This is a wonderful opportunity given to us by Bhagwan. The very fact that we are born as a human being and we have come to know about this great path and this great goal, that is a great blessing from Ishvara. Ishvara wants us to follow this path and gain that enlightenment. So pursue this sincerely. Sanishchayena yoktavyaha yogo anirvinna chetasa. With a firm resolve, without getting disturbed, without becoming lazy, with full enthusiasm, we pursue this path and gain that abidance in our own self. Okay? So more about this we will study in our class tomorrow. So you remain safe, happy, peaceful, healthy. Do your studies, do your seva. Practice this meditation. Understand it subjectively. And we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om, Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Syav Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om.